We are back on Get Up, and let us run the floor, and it begins in Miami, where his father's jersey sways from the rafters as a Heat legend. Tim Hardaway Jr. of the Mavs hit 10 threes, scoring 36 points that tied his career high, and Dallas beat the Heat 127-113. Elsewhere, the Suns still tied with Utah for the top spot in the West as Devin Booker led Phoenix with 31 in a win over the Cavs in overtime. Cameron Johnson putting the exclamation point on it with that reverse slam with just over a minute left. And then finally, this news, and it's not good. That came from Woj, who joined us live earlier today. LeBron James expected to miss back-to-back games against the Clippers and the Blazers to rest his injured right ankle. He will proceed cautiously as the Lakers ramp up for the postseason. There's a lot of talk about him not coming back at all during this regular season and maybe not being right as long as the Lakers go in the playoffs. And so I wanted to bring in the big fella. Big Perk gets up with us early today because we were talking about LeBron and Tom Brady, the two legends, the two icons. I mean, you know, the two Mount Rushmore players in their respective sports still doing it at these ages. And wondering, as you see Brady still kind of cruising and being healthy and LeBron dealing with a significant injury, the question is this, and Kendrick, as our new guest, I give you the first crack at this. Who wins more championships the rest of their career, LeBron James or Tom Brady?
Well, first of all, Greeny, I like how y'all tried to set me up with Ryan Clark and Dan and yourself, all right? And I see the mean bugs, and I was born, but I wasn't born yesterday, okay? Tom Brady is going to finish with the most championships, okay? LeBron James will not catch him. I'll say that, all right? But let me say this, and I may ruffle some feathers in the football world, okay? My brothers might get upset at this comment. I'm not taking for granted in no sport at no level that it's easy to win a championship, okay? But it's way harder to win a championship in the NBA than it is in the NFL. Okay? Because you might get a first round bye.
What?
And then you have to win 3 games
That's not
to
the
secure
question.
a championship. In the NBA, you got to play 4 7-game series, and you got to win 16 games to secure a ring in the NBA. So I know I may ruffle some feathers, but that's what y'all brought me on for this morning. I want all the smoke.
I'm going to kill this, Perk.
You know what? I'm actually happy with this topic. That wasn't what I asked. It isn't the question. But I'm more than happy to hear Ryan Clark's take on it as a man with a Super Bowl ring. RC, what is your reaction? Do you believe it is harder to win an NBA championship than it is to win a Super Bowl?
No, Kendrick is out of his mind. The best team always wins the championship in basketball. That's why they play 7 games, right? So when you're playing football, it's one day, right? You have to be the better team that day for 60 minutes. It doesn't matter what you've done all season. If something goes wrong early, if somebody is banged up, then you're out of there, right? You can't have a team with Dellavedova and get to the championship in football. That's not the way that it works. You have to show up. You have to show up because he was on LeBron's team. You have to show up every single day in the playoffs and play 60 minutes and win. When you look at the NBA championships, there are so many times when the playoffs start, we can call it. These will be the 2 teams in the championships. These will be the 2 teams in the finals. Wild card teams get to the Super Bowl in NFL. Wild card teams, number 8 seeds, 7 seeds, 6 seeds, they don't get to the championship in the NBA because you know what y'all do? Y'all say we're going to play it out really long and we're going to make it 7 games. So if LeBron James is a little off, we can still have him in the championship so we can have ratings. That don't happen. Tom Brady ain't making it all the time, even though he made it 9 of them, right? Aaron Rodgers ain't making it all the time. He's only been once. But when you look at the LeBrons and the Stephs and the KDs, we see them all the time because of that setup, Perk. Don't you ever in your life say it's harder to win an NBA championship than a Super Bowl.
And Ryan, listen, let me tell you why you're 100% wrong, okay? When you're in the 7-game series and you have to beat a team 4 times out of 7, guess what ends up happening? It's harder because teams make adjustments. So you have to see a team, just say a series goes 7 games. By the time you get to that 7th game, every player, every opponent, every coach knows everybody's tendencies, and you still have to battle through where they're forcing you to your weaknesses. So I get what you're saying, and you could play 60 minutes, but imagine having to win 4 games out of 7. 4 games, beating the team
Perk.
4 times out of 7, way harder
Perk.
than winning one
Perk.
game. And Dan, I know you got a
Perk,
lot
I
to
knew-
say.
Perk.
I the scowl on your face. You got your Miami South Beach look
Perk,
going on.
you act
Miami
like-
Vice. Go ahead and do what you do. Do what you do.
Go ahead, Orlovsky. Let me hear from you.
Berg, you act like both teams can't make adjustments. Like in that series, only one team can find the other team's weakness, or only one team can make adjustments. Both teams are going to do it and can do it and will do it. Second of all, your league doesn't have salary cap restrictions. You guys can spend a gajillion bucks and just have to worry about
That's
a
not
luxury
true.
tax or whatever. The NFL's
That's
got
not
salary
true.
cap restrictions. Third
That's
of all,
not true.
there's 11 dudes on the field. There's 11 dudes on the field. Like, you're more dependent on other people to do their jobs. You're more at risk for failure if that other person doesn't do their job. RC's dead right. You guys have a greater variance for failure. You have a greater variance for being off. Tom Brady has had to be on. Once he's gotten in, he's never been afforded or rarely afforded the opportunity to be off. Therefore, it's not even in the same conversation of how hard it is to win
Not
a
even
Super
close.
Bowl
It's not
in
even-
comparison
it's
to
not
an
even-
NBA
Okay.
Let me give
championship.
Perk the
well-
final word. He's good enough to jump in here and completely change the subject. Go ahead, Kendrick Perkins, final word.
Okay, well, since you brought up that point, Dan, this is what I'm going to tell you. All right, when you look at LeBron James, and you just compared him to Tom Brady, right? And you said every time he get there, he deliver. And that might be true, all right? But Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls. He have 5 MVPs, all right? So that means that goes to show me that when he got there, he didn't finish his food. LeBron James has 4 championships. He has 4 final MVPs. So he's leaving nothing on the table. Every time he won, he's capitalized.
He's left
Whatever.
it on the table
Yeah, hey,
6
we cool.
times.
We
Doesn't
cool.
have anything to do with anything.
3 times, Perk.
Let the record show. The real MVP is whoever it is that does our topic bars, who just managed to put that together immediately because it had nothing to do with what we planned to talk about, but it was better. I love it. Kendrick Perkins, you are the best. Thank you for jumping in here. We appreciate it very much.
Man,
I'll take
carry
a
on.